Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm happy to say that today we are going to inaugurate 2 labs with the partnership of World Bank. The first lab is the Social Inequality Lab, and the other is Economic Growth and Forecasting Lab. Every year we actually conduct the sort of report. We prepare a report, our faculty member, our PhD student, our MPhil students, they prepare a report after the budget, and we do all the forecasting exercises, we do the analysis that how the budget is spent and what are the plans regarding expenditure of next year, and also about the revenues. We also look into some of the inequalities and the households, the status, their social status, the labor markets. Because we are already doing all these things, but still we realize that there is need to build capacity in these 2 domains. And these are very important as well. Our focus right now at IBA in Department of Economics is on social inequalities. We have 2 groups actually, very strong 2 groups in faculty. Those who are working on macroeconomic methods, on econometrics, statistics, and the other group is more toward focused toward the social issues social and sustainable issues in economy, in not only in Sindh but also in Pakistan. First I'm going to just explain about the social inequality labs, and after that I would request my colleague Dr. Waliullah. He will be the focal person for the for macroeconomic growth and forecasting labs. He will explain about macroeconomic and forecasting lab, and then I would request Dr. Naji, the country director World Bank, to say that how they are going to collaborate for these 2 labs and about our partnership. First, about the Social Inequality Lab, the concept of the shared prosperity, social justice, and inequality is understudied, particularly in Pakistan and in developing world in general. There are at few forums the evidence on income inequality is presented with a narrow approach and with limited scope. Most of the time it's income inequality or the expenditure inequality, but we want to look on this issue from a more larger and from interdisciplinary perspective. The availability of the empirical and scientific evidence and possibility of investigations are also very limited because of inadequate data sets and availability of information in our research center and universities. Thus, this proposed lab aim to provide the relevant information, research studies, and to generate data set on this very important topic. So the objectives of this labs are, which I am going to just read, but they are not limited to these objectives. We are going to even do more than that. The first to provide the evidence on the social inequalities and their outline reasons, and to define new approaches to measure and understand the complexity of the different type of inequalities, to investigate and explore the causes and consequences of social inequality, and to develop a new framework of research and action on the subject. Also, we plan to collaborate with different institutions of higher education in Pakistan and abroad. Also, we talked to the government of Pakistan, the Planning Commission, and also the Sindh government that they would also be the part of these inequality labs. So the negotiation in process, and we are very hopeful that they will get benefit out of it during their policy making. So, finally, to provide the policy guidelines based on the empirical evidence. So these are just few of the objectives, and one of the benefit for establishing this social inequality labs at School of Economics, Social Sciences is that we have a diverse faculty. We have economists, those who are working on the social issues, and we have economists, those who are experts in econometrics and statistical methods. Also, we have anthropologists, sociologists working on these dimensions. We have environmental specialists, environmental inequalities. Number of our faculty members, I'm not sure they are here. Dr. Hemant Das Lohano, he is an expert in environment and also in the food security as well. So the nutritional intake, there are a lot of inequalities in nutritional intake, and so these are some of the very important issues that need to be studied in much more detail. So these are some of the objectives of establishing these labs. I understand that many students from different universities are here. They are also welcome to participate in this lab, and we will guide them, and we will try to get benefit from wherever they are living. We will get data from those students, and then we will help to calculate and estimate the inequalities in their own domains, in their respective region. So now I would request Dr. Waliullah to explain about the macroeconomic forecasting and growth labs.
Hello everyone. Economic forecasting is important for the stances of monetary policy and fiscal policy, and if there is any change in the monetary policy and fiscal policy that are based on some prediction of the economic growth, interest rate, and prices, these type of things. In Pakistan, mostly we are using the traditional macroeconometric models to forecast the macroeconomic variable, the term structure of interest rate and stock prices. But this type of model have two main problems. One is the timeliness. Mostly we are making biannual or annual forecasts. And secondly, there is the data deficiency. Mostly we are taking the data from the State Bank of Pakistan, Ministry of Finance, or Federal Bureau of Statistics, and we make forecasts based on that data. But nowadays, and these forecasts suffer from the lack of accuracy, and there are big errors in these models. But nowadays, the advanced countries, central banks are using these macroeconometric model, but they are incorporating the machine learning algorithms and big data analytics in their models, and their accuracy is very high. So in this lab, basically we are trying to use, for the last 2 years, we are using one model to forecast a macroeconomic variable every year, and that model consists of about 50 equations, and we take the data from the central bank and Ministry of Finance, and we are making prediction. Sometimes the prediction error is very large, and sometimes it is small regarding some variables. But now we are going to incorporate machine learning algorithms and big data analytics like the Facebook data and Twitter data in our models. And with that one, we will be able to make the forecast quarterly. Secondly, nowadays we are collecting the data from the Pakistan Stock Exchange and the bond market data from the banks for Pakistan. And we are developing our own database, and that one we will have a 5-minute interval data for the stock prices and daily data for the bond market of Pakistan. And we will be able, with that data, our student can make a research, and we will use that data in our predictions. So basically, the objective of this lab is to make a database in which we have the high frequency data that we can be used in our modeling. And secondly, we are going to develop the macroeconometric models in which the machine learning algorithms and big data analytics will be used. Currently, my 2 PhD students are working with me on this project. That's all from.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Waliullah. Now I would request Naji, the Country Director, World Bank, to say a few words about this lab.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very excited to be here, and very excited that the World Bank will be collaborating with IBA on both labs. Both topics are close to my heart. My thesis was on inequality and growth, which covers both topics basically. So and these are both absolutely crucial for policy making, to inform policy debates, and both of them, be it growth forecasting or understanding social inequalities, are going through big developments, big changes in methodologies with measurement of inequality. Oh, with measurement of inequality having gone basically through a revolution over the past 10, 15 years. You all know of the World Inequality Database, which is looking at very, very fine data. And also because the inequality topic, and this is where we're at the World Bank, we're really excited to be collaborating with the new lab at IBA, is broadening and bringing together different disciplines to understand what is inequality, its impact, and collaborating with other disciplines than economics, I think is crucial to understand where does inequality come from, why does it sustain for so long in many places, and its political and social impacts and the poverty traps they can lead to. So we're really, really excited to be supporting the Inequality Lab. We're looking forward to exchange data, to maybe do joint survey work. I think the topic of inequality starts with collecting data. We would like also to learn from the lab, especially in its ambition to bring different disciplines together. I think at the World Bank sometimes we are a bit dominated by economists, although we have engineers as well and social scientists, but understanding inequality through different perspectives I think will also be useful for us to understand better the nature of inequalities in Pakistan. So it's really, really a great pleasure to be supporting the lab, and really much looking forward to collaborate on the data front, on the survey front, doing studies together. And as we were discussing earlier, also we would, as the World Bank and the government indirectly, benefit from it, because we do projects that try to tackle inequality issues, and understanding and having scholars collaborate in these to design better these interventions will be something that's really important, that's long due. So you have the full World Bank commitment for the support, and same thing on the growth and forecasting lab, which is also going through a revolution. I mean, we were just chatting, and I'm so interested by the fact that you're bringing big data and other new techniques of data to improve forecasting. So we'll be exchanging our own analysis, our own models, and maybe they can be informed by each other and confront forecasts. So absolutely excited to support both labs, and this is a start of, inshallah, a long journey and a productive journey for Pakistan, for the students, for the scholars, and looking forward to more collaboration with IBA. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And one more thing, that these two labs will be hosted at IBA, but it doesn't mean that nobody else can participate in it. So all the students, those who are here, you can be the part of. We will try to find out different ways how you can contribute in this lab. So and the policies that we will try to design, they will benefit the national policies, the provincial policies. So if anybody want to give any suggestion about these two labs, because we are at initial process stage and we are trying to incept these two labs. So if there are any suggestion, please go ahead. So we can ask, yeah, Atif.
This is Atif Sheikh from STEP, Special Talent Exchange Program. It's a cross-disability organization based in Islamabad and working across the country. I would like to congratulate World Bank and IBA for this initiative. Actually, it was a long-awaited and much-needed lab. We need to measure the inequalities, and I'm very much interested to learn more about the tools which will be designed to gauge the inequalities, social inequality in different segments of the society. But very briefly, I would like to give a little suggestion, and I'm sure it will be included in the future, that for the segments of the society where data is not available at all, for example, for persons with disabilities and marginalized communities, and intersectionality, like persons with disabilities in the minority communities, women with disabilities, and like gender with disabilities. So for that purpose, if persons with disabilities can be included to devise those tools to measure the inequality, it will be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Atif. Very good point, definitely. And inclusivity is one of the major aims of the school for these for 2 years. We adopted it even as the major theme of the school. So definitely, we are going to consider this. So one more point. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Im Khan from University of Baltistan up in Hamad. I feel that, you know, GB offer IB real for social studies. We are the remotest valleys over there. So probably these are the marginalized people, marginalized communities. So that one is worth visiting and worth studying, the real field studies. And especially one or two models like Aghan AKRSP was one of the success stories in those remote northern areas, and it transformed the rural population, agricultural economies, women participation, and today we see that GB has the highest literacy, and highest happiness index, which is probably the culmination of the economic indicators and all that. So I would say that while you have these two labs over here, these are, but GB itself was open to the world only 1950s and 60s. First time when we had the road connection and the air connections. Before that, for thousands of years, they were landlocked from the outside influence. So they are frozen in time as a social, if you want to study any of the traditions, customs, anthropology, economic activities, and you know how a person who is only maybe poorest of the poor, but still he is very happy and he lives in harmony with the nature, and so that we have learned from them and transformed to other sections of society in Pakistan. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Naeem. And now we are going to finish. I'm sure that at next conference, we will have many knowledge products with us from these two labs. So with these words, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you very much.